Shalom again, I'm Ezra here at Jewish Voice with my friends and colleagues Paula and Esther, and we just want to bring you some specific concerns on our heart, concerns of the body of believers and of the people in the land of Israel right now that we're praying into, and we want to invite you to pray into the same. So first of all, Esther, we've been working with partner ministries both in Ukraine and then also Messianic Jewish ministries in the land of Israel since the war broke out in Ukraine. Now almost 19, 20 months ago, and we've seen thousands of Ukrainians make aliyah, immigrate to Israel under emergency circumstances. They were running away from war to the safety of the Jewish state, the homeland for the Jewish people, and now they're in another war. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so, they've made Israel their new home now in these last couple of years, going from one war to the next. And so on our hearts at this time is really that the Lord would just protect them from more and more emotional trauma that could be taking place. And then also the seeds that have been planted by our partners on the ground who have been ministering to them over the last couple of years, that those seeds would really take root. So that for those that don't know Yeshua, that now is the time, and there's despair that they would come to know.
So true, that God would protect them from trauma. They've gone from one traumatic situation into what they thought was safety, and now that safety has been shattered, not just for the new Ukrainian immigrants, but for all the millions of Israelis, Arab and Jewish alike, this last weekend. That safety, that sense of well-being has been shattered, and it'll take a long time to put it back together. So we're praying especially for those from Ukraine and other parts of the world who have escaped to Israel out of war zones and now are in the midst of another one. You can be praying for that. Yeah. Paula, unity among the body, or unity even among the larger state of Israel and its millions of citizens. Talk to us about that burden.
Yeah, I think that picture of disunity and almost enmity from one group to another is all too familiar to us as Americans, but they have had such a season of so much animosity and virulent argument, and it's probably left open doors to the enemy. And we even have a ministry partner who has verbalized that, an Arab Christian believer who said that is probably a real factor in the spiritual atmosphere in Israel right now, is that disunity. So it really is, for believers, it's a John 17 moment. It's an opportunity to answer the prayer of Yeshua by really coming together. And that has happened before in times of trouble and bloodshed in Israel, where there's been bloodshed between Arab and Jew, and Arab Christians and Jewish believers have gone to those physical locations and wept and mourned and cried together, taken communion together. And so there's a spiritual dynamic when we come together as believers. So that's my prayer for the believers in the land. And I feel like it's happening, and it will impact even the larger body. Even the government is saying we've got to come together.
Right.
We've got to,
this feud, this ongoing war in the Middle East is really an ancient family feud between the children of Isaac and Jacob and the children of Ishmael, right, who have been at enmity with one another for thousands and thousands of years. And as we're asking God, what's the secret? What's the answer to peace in the Middle East? The answer is right there in black and white. It's the Prince of Peace, Yeshua, who says, I pray that they would be one, even as you, Father, and I are one. And what better testimony of the reality of the kingdom of God, of the reality of the power of Yeshua, of Jesus in the lives of men and women, than Arab Christians and Messianic Jews at a time when everything should say that they should be separate and go their separate ways, standing together in love and in these covenant relationships. So we're praying for unity in the body of believers in Israel, and we're also praying for unity among Israelis at large. This has been really, in 70-something years of Israel's history, the most politically divided year on record, and it's heartbreaking, and yet maybe the Lord can turn it for good, that it should take such a national tragedy to cause people to put aside selfish ambition and political position and come together as Am Israel, as the people of Israel, and Arab Israelis coming together with them saying, this is our land and we're going to stand together as one people in the midst of the threat. So we're praying for unity among believers and among the nation at large. And just as we're praying for that, also talking to partner ministries in Jerusalem and surrounding areas. They're asking that you and I would pray that the body, the remnant of Israel, Messianic Jewish believers and Arab Christians in Israel, are strengthened, that the Lord would strengthen them with power and with might by His Spirit in this hour. The crushing pressure of all that's going on, they need the Lord's strength, they need stamina, they need endurance, they need hope, they need His comfort as they grieve, and they need grace upon grace. So pray with us for those coming from dangerous parts of the world to Israel who are now experiencing this, for unity in the body and the nation, and for the strengthening of men and women who call upon the name of the Lord throughout Israel. We'll keep you updated as we have more prayer requests from our friends, our family, our partners in Israel. Thank you for praying with us.